Hello, and welcome to the Sidescape Gaming Podcast, episode 38. I'm your host, Jake Burke, and joined, as always, by James St. Charles and the second-tier gamer himself, Ted Libby. Now, Ted, I want to ask you, how are you doing?
I'm doing good.
And the reason I want to, because we're going to talk about Risk of Rain 2 in a minute. But my first real game of Risk of Rain 2, we won. We beat the whole game.
We did.
And so
you have played and beaten Risk of Rain.
Exactly. It took me an hour and a half. That was it.
Took you an hour and a half, yeah.
And I didn't miss a shot. My accuracy
only died once.
Only died once. It was the same as half of our team. Because this is the 38th episode of the Sidescape Gaming Podcast, where every Monday morning a new episode goes live on YouTube.com, SoundCloud, and Spotify. Once a week, we sit down and chat across 500 miles to talk about a gaming-related topic and what games we are playing. Our main topic today is we are reviewing Risk of Rain 2, reviewing impressions. James and Ted have played a lot more than I have, so they'll have a lot more to say. If you enjoy the show, remember to subscribe, like, and maybe leave a comment. And please, for the love of frickin' God, tell your mother it's the holidays.
Please.
We are a mother-friendly show. Tell her.
Okay. Mother-friendly.
Mother-friendly. Now, Risk of Rain 2. James has been talking about this game for a while. I think it was actually on your most anticipated games of the year when we did it 8 months ago.
Yep.
I want to know, James, has Risk of Rain 2 lived up to the hype? And then I want you to tell us about the game and kind of what it is a little bit for the audience.
So I think the lead up to the 1.0 release, which is I'm a big fan of not playing early access.
Right.
After being burned so many times.
Early access for
a while. So it's when your game is early access for a long time, it's I'm just gonna wait for 1.0. I did the same for Hades, which I think was okay.
Mm-hmm.
I did not play before 1.0 or before its release. And two games, Hades and Risk of Rain 2, came out 1.0 out of early access and very successful. Hades being way more successful, but Risk of Rain 2 hits that niche market that overtakes Risk of Rain 1, which Risk of Rain 1 was a 2D side scroller, but exact same premise.
Oh, it was.
Yes, it was a 2D side scroller with the exact same enemies, but just on a 2D platform.
That's cool.
It was fun. It's still fun. I played it all the time, but 2 just nails everything on the head with a third-person type view and with the weapon combos, and it's just a little bit more fun having the map. So
yeah,
impression-wise, I think it did live up to the hype.
Okay,
but after you do most of the things in the game. It's fun to get in a good run every now and then, but then it becomes a little bit stale.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Which happens with a lot of roguelikes. You need more content or updates to keep it going.
Yeah.
But there's different modes with Risk of Rain 2, which makes it fun. Or when you play with someone new or play with a bunch of friends.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I think the fun is.
So give a brief kind of synopsis of Risk of Rain and what you're doing in it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Risk of Rain is a roguelike, but it's not your typical roguelike. Typically, roguelikes would be room or level elevation, whereas Risk of Rain, you can basically be on the same level forever, and the difficulty will increase. So you have this timer difficulty where you go from easy, medium, hard, insane, and then it goes ha ha ha, which is just really, really hard enemies. But your goal is basically to get to the end as fast as possible. You want to clear a level, get as many items as you can, activate a portal to get to the next level. Your goal is basically to find the portal.
Mm-hmm.
And then once you activate the portal, you'll face a mini boss. You'll basically face a boss for the world.
Yeah.
And there's different types of bosses with different abilities. There's worms. There's little clay guys that we kept getting. And it's fun to just fight them all. And then once you defeat the boss, you get an item and you go to the next world. But there's just little intricacies here with also the characters you can play. You don't just have one character and you get a bunch of items to make them better. You can play different builds, and once you go through and get to the end, they added a boss. There used to not be an ending to this game until 1.0's release. So once they added that boss, it was kind of fun. And once you beat that boss, you get another character to unlock. But your goal is you don't unlock items permanently either. So that's unlike other roguelikes, but it's more like Binding of Isaac in that sense.
Yeah,
where it's per run.
It's a fresh start every run.
Fresh start every run. You have your character. You start from base. And it's fun. It's RNG, spawn enemies. It's usually the same map, but items and enemies will be different places. Or I think it's a lot of fun because I love the RNG aspect of roguelikes.
So Ted, what are your thoughts about it so far? Did you play Risk of Rain 1 at all?
I didn't.
Okay.
This is my first foray into the ROR franchise.
This is the first time you're risking Rain.
This is the first time I'm risking
he hasn't risked Rain in a while.
Actually, hold on. Sorry. James, why do they call it Risk of Rain? Ted and I were debating this.
Yeah, we were wondering what the story was.
don't know.
I don't think they know either. So
Okay,
I
I
think
think
we're
I'm
all
on
the
that.
same
I think I
page.
hit it on the head.
Yeah. I mean, I would like to play the first game again, but last time I played, the multiplayer was totally broken.
Oh.
Like, you could not play it. I think it's
Yeah,
duo as well.
Risk of Rain released, I believe, with only local multiplayer, and
Yeah.
online multiplayer was
All the
added
multiplayer is
in as
broken.
a third-party add-on, like a GameSpy attachment.
Oh,
It's,
weird.
yeah.
But yeah,
Like,
it was,
you
it
know,
was
like,
janky.
When you have to, like, use, like, some other server to, like, become, like,
It was like
play
you had
duo.
to download a Hitachi server or something.
It was, like, I think it was Hitachi
Um,
based.
No, this game is very cool. It is. It was described to me as kind of like a build your own dungeon run, build
Mhm.
your own team raid group,
Mhm.
Which is very cool. Everyone kind of starts the same, and as you guys get loot, as you guys work together as a team, different roles kind of spread out. Of like, oh, I'm building a really good boss killing character.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'll take
your
out-
items can determine your builds. You can go, like, health, tanky. You can go, like, just pure glass cannon.
And it does that roguelike thing of like, it doesn't matter if we die, we'll just start over, and that's just a new reason to try something different, which is very, very cool.
Or get more familiar with your character or the enemies, which is what I like about, like, Hades in that aspect. You get more familiar with the bosses.
Yeah.
Although you almost get, like, the same bosses every single time, some of the times are slightly different with different abilities. And that's how I feel like Risk of Rain does as well. Is like sometimes your bosses will be the same, but it'll be like a different magma, or it won't be like it'll be like the electric one. So it switches it up a little bit. It's not always the same enemies. Like they'll have different little bit abilities.
So from someone who's played this game 1.5 times, I'm going to call my first time playing through with 35 people a wash. Really playing it for the first time, we went to like 4 worlds before going to the final boss. Is that always the trajectory of you're on 4 worlds, or can you go to like 8 worlds before the final boss?
You can go to like so many worlds. You can redo your run.
Basically. I know
so
that.
the way it worked before the final boss is there are 4, I believe, maybe even 5 levels, and then a final boss. Right before the final boss, you can choose to restart the 4 levels you were just on, more or less,
with all your items, right?
With all your items, and you can just keep doing it. So you could do, up to.
It's like a victory lap thing, because it's like you get to the end, it's like, damn, I have a really insane build. I just want to like keep going, and I'll never die.
Yeah. So the harder difficulties become either we're going to do this very quickly, or we're going to do this a lot and really gear up before the final boss.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's just like it's whether or not like are you properly geared for the final boss? If not, let's just do a rerun really quick and try and get to it. Which I like that.
Yeah, and that can be fun if you want to spend the time to really make this ridiculous build with all these interesting synergies, but you just don't have the time. You can just keep doing it over and over until you roll the correct items.
In Binding of Isaac, there was an item where you could like reroll the level, which is always helpful. Like just doing a level again could get you more items. So that's why like the reroll aspect is really nice.
So that's the thing I wanted to kind of go into is the item pool, I guess we'll call it, from like all the different items you can pick up.
Yeah.
I only got like items that help my commando guy shoot faster was really what my guy was all about. How many different, just like say just from the commando build, different branching kind of areas can you go into? Is there enough variety to be like, this commando is going to be all about, I don't know, bombs or whatever. I don't know how.
Yes.
Yeah.
I would disagree. If you really break it down into like statistics, there's not a lot going on.
But there's different items you can get that will like change the way you play. Like you can get like equipment based items that'll trigger like every 20 seconds, and your goal is to run around, and your equipment's just gonna keep like triggering. So you're focused on your equipment. Whereas sometimes it's like your focus is gonna be on like your healing or like your shield generation, or like it's like AOE. There's sometimes those don't do as much, but I feel like equipments can also change a build.
Okay.
Yeah, the items themselves really there isn't a lot too different run to run. However, different synergies work really well.
Synergies where the combos
and the synergies are really where this game shines.
Yeah.
You can get
you
can get a ton of attack speed and then just find an item that every time you get crit chance it increases
the crit chance
speed, or excuse me, you get crit chance and then you finally find an item that converts your crit chance into attack speed.
Okay.
And you're like, oh, this is how I'm doing my build this time.
So,
or some guillotine builds where you just destroy elites like right away.
Yeah.
With that, with like different, because there's what, 7 characters, 6 characters? What is there? No, there's more than that.
There might be 8 or 9. Okay. Yeah, there's kind
of
a lot.
Each character, then, do the items affect them differently?
Yes.
Kind of?
No, I mean, attack speed is attack speed for every single character. But different characters' abilities will change how you're going to play the game. Some characters don't need attack speed.
The answer to your question, though, is since they have different abilities, items do affect them differently. Like for Acrid, or for example, he'll recharge his jump way faster. There's an item that makes him basically infinitely jump.
Okay.
Whereas like for other characters, like that's not a thing.
Because
or
his
for the
cooldown
one
is
character
faster.
there's a one character that can stay like permanently flying in the air because of his abilities, because of an item. So it's like you can't put that on, your starting commando. It won't do anything.
Yeah.
So
okay.
There are items that like affect them
Different characters because of their cooldowns or because of their abilities. Okay. Gotcha. So with that, I want to ask this other question about items, because I feel like this game is really about what items you get and then you shoot stuff.
It's about items.
Yeah.
In Hades, which I think does the roguelike thing very well, as we talked about in like 3 or 4 episodes ago, you get sometimes like a build and you're using the trident and you're like, I didn't get the right Zeus abilities, so I'm like, this run's kind of a wash. Do you find that in Risk of Rain, does that happen where you're like, we're just not getting anything real here?
Yeah,
that happens. You'll get junk runs all the time, just like Binding of Isaac.
Yeah, there is a dark side of, I mean, maybe the style of game, but definitely this game of like, I really need these 2 things and I'm just not getting them. But at the same time, every item is helpful in some way, and it's a very kind of go with the flow. You need a kind of a go with the flow mentality with it.
Yeah.
But yes, you absolutely can get into a mindset of like, I need a very specific thing and I am not getting it, and my character is bad now because of it.
Okay.
Yeah, and we're playing without any of the like add-on modes that you can unlock, which there's like one where you can choose the items you get from every single box, which is really helpful in making like a broken build, because you know exactly what items you need to be broken.
Yeah.
But we've been playing traditional, which is just the RNG chance of getting like really good.
There are a lot of things that kind of appear later in the game that really change things up, kind of like the idea of getting rid of the randomization loop.
Yeah, so you can get rid of randomization, or like you'll have all the items available to you.
Like we'll just like pull up a sub menu and you get to pick.
Yeah, you basically pull up a menu, pick it.
And that, I mean, that completely changes the game, right?
It makes it fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's just like, I know exactly what items I need. I need all these attack items.
Yeah.
And also I don't know if they mentioned to you, but like, have they talked about like stacking multiple items?
Yes. So my commando, I found like the syringe that makes me shoot faster, and I had like 6 of them in my leg. Now that's the thing I think is really cool about this game, is that all your items show up on your character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it does that for Binding of Isaac as well, but it's really hard to like dupe items in Binding of Isaac.
Someone who's recently played Marvel's Avengers, how does it feel to have stuff show up on your character?
Sorry, side note, did you see Marvel's Avengers hasn't even made like 65% of its budget back?
Yeah, they're taking a huge loss.
That game ain't getting no more characters after Kate Bishop.
Yeah,
just saying.
It's done.
Yeah, that game's
done. Classic quote.
You guys, silence your phones, please. That was my bad. So I think that little detail, that adding all the items on your character, is very cool. Definitely like a standout for me of like, well, this is very neat. Like, wow, changing almost the cosmetic nature. So with that, I am enemy variation. Is there a ton of enemy variation? Because from my very juvenile perspective, this was like everything I just shoot. They're walking things and they shoot fireballs.
Everything that you saw is what is basically, you saw most of the enemies in the game. You kind of got the full scope of it, give or take a couple that show up based on what random level you drop into. Higher difficulties will have different elemental effects. So more guys will show up as Infernal, where they have demon horns and they shoot fire. And that's kind of where this game changes it up, is there'll be frost enemies, or frost lizards and fire lizards are different kinds.
Or the enemies just get huge. Like they'll be smaller. They just get like giants. So
yeah, this is very much a quantity over quality game of like difficulty is just more things on the screen that you need to shoot.
Okay.
Yeah.
So James, what do you want to see done differently or improved upon or added to as kind of they update Risk of Rain?
Like they did with Binding of Isaac, more items is going to definitely like make the game better. So hopefully they do that. More enemies, more levels.
I think more levels, more kind of different places to pop into. Yeah. As you go through your runs over and over again.
Is that a problem?
It doesn't really need
game?
new characters, though. Like maybe like one new character.
Okay.
But this game benefits more off the items and the enemies.
Yeah, this game is also chocked full of secrets, as any roguelike.
There's so many secrets.
You know, I mean, there are times where I'm playing with our gang, and we'll just pop into a level, and one of them will be like, "Oh, okay, this is the level with the secret boss. We need to go do this thing, like kill 5 eggs," and then this weird side boss shows up. And then we kill the weird side boss and get a weird kind of extra boost for doing that. And so there's lots of little hidden things that kind of hide away that don't really matter until they pop up in front of you, and you go, "Oh, we've come across this. Let's go do this thing."
Okay.
Yeah, or
And I think more things like that, more kind of situational.
different shrines too, because the
Yeah.
shrines are fun. But like, I know we have like some like just combat shrines, but
Mhm.
maybe some shrine that would like that doesn't just take health. Like maybe if it takes an item or something like that'd be kind of cool for
Yeah.
a chance at something.
So,
But yeah.
what are kind of the complaints about Risk of Rain 2? Are there any things that you don't particularly care for in the game, or what is your kind of thoughts there?
I hate that it's base game locked at 4 people.
I think it's a good call.
No, I want it to be like Halo
that
lobbies.
So-
18 people.
8-person run was
Yeah,
a little bit much,
for
even
co-
for me.
for
who's played
context,
the game.
I had not played the game before until like 3 days ago, and James and all of us were going to play a game, and then more people just kept wanting to play, so we added a mod that
know.
increased the size, and it was just utter anarchy, and I couldn't understand
chaos.
anything, and nobody like could explain it because there were so many people in there. Thankfully, Gunnar was like, "Hey Jake, just stick with me," and I'm like, "This is a chest. You get items from the chest. Do you see the money in the corner?" I was like, "You're getting money? This is insane." We beat one level and nobody told me what to do. And then everyone was like, "Jake, you're picking up too many items." I was like, "I don't even know what items do."
Yeah.
Nobody's telling me anything. So it was interesting. But so this experience with 4 people was much better, and I actually would recommend the game now,
Yeah.
or I would not have before.
Yeah, so I'm glad that happened though.
Yeah, I think it's great.
That's what was needed.
How are the additional characters? Like, are they
Very fun. Like
Yeah.
honestly,
Very
the
fun.
base
They
character
changed the game
sucks.
a lot. Yeah.
The base character is the worst character, and I
Okay.
hate that you're locked on characters.
No,
But
like it's a easy thing to fall back on to say, "Oh, the first character sucks." But in this game, the commando, he looks great, he feels fun, but at the end of the day, he is very basic.
I wish Commando had like they could redo like different like
Yeah, there's a lot of creativity with these characters that is just not in the commando. The commando is a point and a
Plain.
shoot and a roll, and that's kind of about it.
point shoot roll.
okay?
And that was the same thing. It was okay in the base game in Risk of Rain 1. That was all the Commando did. But it works in like a 2D side scroll.
Yeah.
Like you just roll away, like but
Yeah.
the roll does nothing here. Whereas when other characters just leap like 20 miles or like grapple or
Yeah, there are characters who focus around poison damage, or there's a character with a grappling hook whose whole deal is just charge in at people and then just hit them with his fist or her fist.
Ooh, I like that.
there's one that can like hide underground, which is kind of fun.
Yeah,
Like
there's
that's
a
better
bunch
than
of
rolling.
weird fun things that show up once you start playing the game a little bit more.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was kind of curious about that. Just playing as the commando, I was like, I mean, this is fun. It's fun to play this with people, but it's very simplistic.
Yeah.
So that's cool to know that it really changes.
One knock I really do have against this game, it's not necessarily a knock, but it's something that you have to be aware of when you up the difficulty, is this game has a lot of burst damage. You can feel like an unstoppable monster for most of the game, and you're not even taking points of damage. And then the difficulty chunks up, you enter a new level, and somebody just hits you and you're dead.
Yeah.
And you're not even sure why.
That
and
can
your
happen
body's
all the time.
flying, and you're like, all right, guys, I just died. I'm not really sure why or if I could do anything about that. And it just, the ramp in difficulty goes from 0 to 100 really quickly. And it feels less reactive and more like luck based, that you encountered the wrong thing at the wrong time and just died.
Yeah.
And when you die in this game, you no longer get loot for the rest of the level. So the rest of your team is running around getting loot, and all of a sudden
so you get behind. Yeah, there's no come from behind thing.
Yeah, there are no comeback mechanics. So if you are maybe not as good, or someone on your team is very good, you will start to feel not as strong.
Yeah.
And that only gets worse as you keep playing.
Just start
So
feeling less
I've
than.
played runs. Yeah, I played runs that lasted, almost 2 hours. You go through the whole game a couple times where 2 people are just rolling it the entire time, and then the other 2 people just die every single time, and it's kind of like they run around for a bit and then get chunked. And that part really does kind of suck. There isn't a good comeback mechanic other than your team being like, okay, this person's falling behind. You need to take time to get them the items they need.
Yeah. I think it's really fun. I'm really excited to play more of Risk of Rain 2. It seems like a great party game to play online with your friends, and
It is a fun
yeah. Extra little side note: that soundtrack is fantastic.
Great to you.
Yeah.
Just this weird 70s
Ominous.
synthesizer prog rock with these, strange floating planet. Yeah, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It is really good. It's a really good soundtrack to just hear, go, oh, okay, forget about, and then you come back to it and you're like, oh, okay,
this is good.
we're jamming. We're having a little solo right now. Yeah.
Yep.
I'm going to talk about a game that has a great soundtrack in a little bit as well.
Okay.
Any final thoughts on Risk of Rain 2?
Get it.
Get it.
It's fun with friends. That's
yeah,
but you can also play it solo. It's a good solo. Like it's time sink.
It's a very cool kind of a relaxing experience.
Yeah.
It's stressful, don't get me wrong, but it is just like a sit, click that shoot button, and just chill for most of the game, and that's very cool.
Yep.
I like it a lot. It's a good kind of almost like a tone down
Just
or a
a fun
cool off
roguelike.
kind of game. Yeah, and it doesn't feel like a roguelike in the bad ways. You know, you never feel gypped or
No, yeah. It's usually
RNG
pretty
has screwed you over.
fair.
You
Yeah, I
can
would
kind of
agree
just
with that.
run around, play the game, and whatever, you know?
Yeah.
I would say it's something that I think roguelikes are just getting better at doing in general.
Yeah.
I know,
Yeah.
like Hades always kind of still felt like that. Like, oh, okay, there's still a
Hades
chance
very-
here, and
Yeah, I'm still having fun even though, you know, X, Y, and Z is happening.
yeah. My final thought would be, I think the final boss is actually really fun,
Final
Oh,
Boss
good.
is great.
and I
Yeah.
think that the mechanic of him taking all of the items
Yes.
is very like unique, and I think that's like
It's
really
fun.
cool. I just
Yeah.
think that's like such a
That's
silly concept. I'm like, that's cool. So
Yep.
thought that was very cool.
Mhm.
Okay, I want to transition to what we have been playing. But before that, James, we are like less than a week away from Cyberpunk. How do you feel?
I feel like it's not gonna happen,
I
but
know.
I know it's gonna happen. It's
Yeah.
just like it doesn't feel real. Like we've been waiting so long.
This game was announced like 7.5 years ago
hmm
at an E3, and it
Yeah.
still doesn't feel like it's a real game.
But again, it's
Yeah.
one of the things where it's like, I'm happy for the delays. Like,
Mhm.
yes, delay. Don't just release some garbage and
Yeah.
patch it.
I
It'll never
agree.
be good. Your first impression is always like the impression of the game.
And so before we've played anything, because the next podcast we will have played Cyberpunk 2077, which is a very weird concept to say. How do you feel? Do you feel like it's going to live up to the hype? Do you think it's going to be
Yes.
this 10 out of 10 perfect RPG that they've kind of
I
been
think
billing it
it'll
as?
not be a perfect RPG, but I think it'll live up. It will like be amazing.
Will it be your game of the year over The Last of Us Part 2?
We'll see.
You're very interested.
I mean,
I'm very excited.
personally, Last of Us Part 2 is like
Yeah, tune in
with
next
Final
week.
Fantasy VII Remake. It's like really like
Neck and neck.
neck and neck because
Yeah.
just remake was just so
So
fucking
good.
good. But
Yeah.
so Cyberpunk could knock one of those out.
Interesting. Ted, how do you feel about it? Are you excited? You ready?
Dude, I have no freaking clue.
All right. I like that.
You said it doesn't even feel like a real game, and I'm to be fair, I have not been watching every trailer.
Right.
I mean,
Staring
I
at
have.
every
I'm
E3
keeping
demo.
myself like ignorant on this game because I want to
Um,
experience it just.
But
like,
I'm
as
also kind of in like a what do you do?
I am in that
like,
boat
play it.
too. I am in that boat.
play it.
I'm very excited to just see. Well, because like The Witcher, you can explain in a sentence. You're a monster hunter who kills monsters, and there's stuff happening.
Yeah.
But this one, I'm like, okay, well, do you just live in this world?
Just like
do you
live in
spend?
Night City.
Yeah, and
Yes.
I'm cool. Yeah, I'm into that. But I'm very excited just to find out what this actually is.
Me too. I'm very excited to see the loop
Is
of
this
this
a game where I forget the main quest and just do side quests every day, like Skyrim?
Yeah.
James, Skyrim is a Bethesda game that released.
Yeah, it's pretty popular. It's been on like 2 to 3 consoles.
I think it's been on a refrigerator at one point.
Yeah, it's been on everything. You
but
play it
yeah,
on your Apple Watch.
Yeah.
I'm optimistic and open-minded. I'm just ready to see what it is.
Me too. I'm in
Yeah.
the same boat of like I'm just very excited. I'm excited to be like in cyberpunky style because I think that's like a very cool art style. And then I'm also just excited that Keanu Reeves is in a video game. And I'm
Yeah.
just
Yeah,
so curious
I don't know about
that.
I mean, Keanu Reeves is good, but when it's like,
It's like too
is,
much.
is this
right
like, which Keanu Reeves am I getting? Am I getting like hardcore, like serious Keanu Reeves, or am I getting like laid back, like radical dude, like Keanu Reeves?
now? Yeah,
Like
are
I
you
don't know
getting, are
which
you
one I'm
getting Bill
getting.
and Ted, or are you getting John?
Yeah, I'm
Wick?
getting Bill and Ted.
Yeah.
I'm down for either.
Me
but
too.
It'll definitely change the tone of the game.
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
gonna be very
exactly.
interesting.
That's just,
His name is Johnny Silverhand. That's all you need to know. All right, boys, before we end this podcast, I want to know what games you have been playing besides Risk of Rain 2, if anything. James, you have been just on point with what you've been playing the last few weeks.
I know, right?
Very quick, what have you been playing?
Risk of Raid 2
Uh-huh.
and Hades.
Okay,
Guess what? Guess what's happened?
what happened?
I've gotten to the last boss 3 times.
Uh-huh.
Oh wow.
Gotten to the second phase 3 times. Gotten him to 25% health 3 times, and I have not killed him
You
yet.
still not beat Hades?
Oh, you haven't. Oh,
Ow.
it's tough. It is tough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There are times when you blast through the entire game thinking you're a monster, and then Hades just
Yeah,
Yes.
Hades like humbles you. And
Oh,
what I
yes,
found
yeah.
is I just like never have enough health at the end, so I'm just focusing on health in the beginning and then
Yeah, get a lot of
getting my
the, you have
items,
death
like,
defies, right? Get all your death
Yeah, yeah.
defies. And get that lucky
Death Defied's
tooth.
really good. There's an item, the acorn, that like
Acorn.
blocks the first couple hits of damage from the boss. That is actually really good because Hades just hits you for half your health every time.
True.
So it's just 3 extra hits on the 4 you normally get.
Yeah.
I can't remember who drops it. It's like Orifice or something.
Yeah, you got to keep giving her gifts.
Or Artifice, yeah.
Great game.
Anyway.
Hades is fantastic. You got to beat Hades. Ted, have you beaten Hades?
I beat the boss Hades.
Okay.
And then looked up kind of the secret endings and stuff. And
I rolled credits.
It's very nice. Did you really?
Yeah.
You beat him 10 times or whatever?
Yeah. Dude, I remember I told you I was on that 9-game winning streak.
Yeah. I
won 9 in a row.
Yeah.
I got real deep. I played the game too much.
I was like, when I could get like the best items, like get a good build, you can like get going.
The credits are worth it. That was a very
touching thing.
Heartwarming ending. Yeah.
It's really good. Very good game. Ted, we talked a lot about Hades, so we don't think we need to keep going. What games?
I am falling into a rabbit hole, you guys.
Oh no.
What game this week?
It's rough. I have bought peripherals and add-ons to make my experience better.
Did you buy a flight stick?
Yeah, this
did.
bad boy.
Oh,
look at that
That's the classic one.
Classic.
The one they've been making for like 30 years.
Pro, yeah. I have been playing flight games, and I've been playing flight games in VR.
So which
wait, did Flight Simulator, did the VR come out for that yet? Because I heard that was coming out soon.
I'm aware of, no.
Like support for all VR.
I have not actually played Microsoft's Flight Simulator. That's kind of the one I haven't played yet.
It's free on Game Pass.
Standard. I know.
You gotta download it, and then you gotta download another 55 gigs after the game.
That's what I'm worried about. Yeah, but I have played Star Wars Squadrons so far and Elite Dangerous.
So I want to talk about Star Wars Squadrons really quick. We don't have to do this long. What do you think of Star Wars Squadrons?
I've
played like 7 levels of it.
Yeah, I actually have too. I think we might be in the same part in the campaign. That game is a great first step.
Yes.
Yes.
It is a very fun flight game. And it's parts of it, the Star Wars universe are very charming. Parts of it are just roll your eyes like, oh my God, this is awful.
What's it missing?
Character development.
Yeah, it's missing characters.
Yeah. It is very baseline. We are the good guys. Everybody high five. Let's go get a drink in the cantina. And the bad guys are all like, well, why don't we just kill everybody? And they're like, well, we have orders not to. And it's like, okay.
I think there's cool like elements of Star Wars in it. Like the main captain of your rebel fleet used to be an Imperial that like ditched him when they blew up Alderaan because he's like, I didn't sign up to blow up planets. And you're like, that's a cool little Star Wars-y moment. But then they're like, they've got this mysterious rebel plan called Starhawk. Yep. And they're like, and they mention it every fucking mission briefing of like our secret mission Starhawk. And then you're like, your pilots are like, I wonder what Starhawk is. It's weird they won't tell us. And then like this like alien guy's like, yeah, Starhawk's interesting. And you're like, this is just fucking awful like dialogue.
Yeah, and it has this huge problem where like there are main side characters who are named by name. They're technically supposed to be your friends in the squad. And then there are not named characters in other ships who just die because it's a space game and ships shoot ships all the time.
Yeah.
And nobody seems to care about their lives. You know, it's not like, oh, we just lost Harry. It's like, oh, A-wing down. But Frisk is okay, and you're like,
fucking Frisk. It honestly, I mean, we've talked about this a little bit. I don't know if you were on the show. It's a lot like Star Fox. Mm-hmm. Like I think this game is just
about it off camera.
Off camera. This game is just Star Fox, and like there's literally a part in a mission where it reminds me so much of Star Fox 64, of like your guy gets chased, and they're like, go find your guy and save him, and then like you don't do it, and they're like, you still haven't saved Frisk yet. Hey, Frisk is getting shot. And then Frisk comes on the mic. He's like, I'm getting shot at. Where are you? And they're like, you should go save Frisk. And then you don't. And it's like, he doesn't die. He just like gets shot.
It's the Star Wars part is a little bit laughable. So as somebody who is now in the cockpit around him with a joystick, it feels very fun.
So this is the thing I wanted to ask you about, because I think the hardest thing for me right now is actually controlling my ship.
Yep.
I think it does not feel good with a controller.
Yes. So flight games just in general are very difficult to translate onto something that's not a joystick.
Stick,
and this actually, I think it does a very good job. It's very arcadey. I've tried playing a little bit more sim type games, and it's much harder on a controller. But there are just like, this game suffers from just having one or too many, like a couple extra buttons that really make things kind of difficult
Yeah.
to maneuver in your hands. There's always a third thing you need to be pressing, but you only have 2 thumbs, and it's a little bit janky. I've gotten a lot better at it. But honestly, the addition of a flight stick just it really makes life easy for you. Like one hand controls what 3 or 2 hands do with a controller, and then your other hand is free to press those shield divert power to shields button. And it feels very good. I don't think it'd be competitive in a multiplayer setting, which is where that game seems to thrive. I think honestly a controller might be easier just because everybody's on the same page.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've been playing that in VR, and it is very cool to just sit in a TIE fighter and look around and be in a like a little ball with, and you look down and kind of see below your feet.
Yeah.
And that's how you look. And then you look kind of up. It is very cool. It is cool. It is not special or required. I don't think it's that transcendent kind of VR moment. The game I will talk about briefly, I've been playing Elite Dangerous. Our friend of the show, Gunnar, told me to play it because we got it for free. And we were just kind of messing around. It is very much like a flight sim. There are a lot more buttons. It's much more complicated.
You're like fighter jets, right?
No, like space. Like
okay.
Like a more realistic look at space.
Like Call of Duty Infinite Warfare.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
The classic Call of Duty Infinite Warfare. Right. But like when you slow down in your ship or cut the power, you'll still glide. You have to rotate. It's much more realistic. But that game has a sense of space in VR that was very cool to just sit in your cockpity chair and look around, and the character in-game's joystick maps 1-to-1 with your movements with a joystick.
That's
so
cool.
when you trying to get it in hand, when you move, it does it too. So I'm looking at my hand doing the exact same thing my real hand is doing.
Wow.
And that's where VR really clicked for me for the first time. Of like, oh, I am sitting in a spaceship right now, and my actions translate directly to what's going on. It was very cool. I'll have more to say about it when I actually understand what that game
is actually.
I have no clue what's going on. I left a space station and got fined for it. It's a complicated thing. But it was very cool to just kind of try these
like a Star Citizen.
Yeah, I'm not even getting into that. I don't have that kind of money. I don't have that kind of money.
Jesus.
But I do want to spend a little bit of time and play the original Star Wars TIE Fighter and just feel the difference, because that's kind of what Squadrons felt like it was conceived around. And then at some point they said, we need to make this the all-arounder kind of for everyone type game. And I'd love to see
I don't think Star Wars Squadrons controls badly. I just don't think I'm good at controlling flight games. Yeah, like I'm constantly spinning around in a circle, like don't know where I'm going.
Yeah, flight games are a different beast. Yeah. It is not a driving game. It's something you have to kind of learn and understand. And I think Star Wars Squadrons does a really good job, even with a controller.
And I think also just it being stuck in first person, while I get like the point and why they're doing it, makes it harder for my brain to like control. Yeah. Like if it was third person, I'd be like, fine, this is awesome. But the fact that like I think stuck in the cockpit.
You could categorize space shooters or space sims in a completely different technical genre of a whole different muscle memory setup that you need to learn. Because I had my roommates play it with the goggles and the joystick, and he said his biggest problem was he thought accelerate was forward on the joystick, which is down. He took the headset off. He's like, I don't think I know how to fly a plane.
Yeah.
But no, it has been a very cool little side project, little side escape of mine too.
Hey. That would have been a great place to end the podcast. That's so funny.
But it's been a very cool little thing to check out.
Nice.
Yeah, I am starting down the rabbit hole of VR, and it's a very cool product. Yeah. I really am excited for it. I'll have more to say on it later when I actually play more.
That's awesome. What VR headset are you using?
I'm using my roommate's Oculus Rift.
Okay.
Good. So it's not bad.
It is the original. It is the oldest. Yeah. And that gives me a lot of hope, because a lot of my complaints are like, well, this is like 3 years old.
5-6 years old.
Yeah, this is the original. Like, we're still a little bit unsure of how this works. So that means that one day I will put on a newer headset, and a lot of those problems will go away, which is very exciting.
By it.
Yeah,
I've heard the Quest is real good. Like for what it is,
the Quest 2 is supposed to be really, really good.
Yeah, I as part of this podcast, I will be doing my research on VR headsets and equipment, just because I feel it's important, especially in this space, to understand where that subgenre of gaming is going.
I want you to use the company card Go buy yourself a Quest 2. All right, and then you can invoice the company.
Done.
Sounds good.
Already, it's already happened.
Hey, James, just between you and I, we don't have a company card, and Ted's gonna.
Oh, it's not your card?
No, he's paying all of his own money.
Okay. Oh, okay.
What?
No, don't worry about it, Ted. You're good. I just wanted to make sure James.
I opened the MasterCard in your name, and it worked.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Is that not the company? Oh,
the company's just under me. Yeah, it's Jake Escape.
I have to make some phone calls.
The last thing I want to talk about, just really quick before we end the show, I want to talk about what I've been playing, because I've been playing a new game. I started playing Assassin's Creed again this week, and there's just a lot of game in that game, and it's a lot of game.
I heard the ending is stupid in all the best Ubisoft ways.
That's what I've heard. I've actually heard the ending's really cool if you like weird Assassin's Creed lore, and so I want to get to the ending. I think the Viking story very fun. It's just a lot of game, and like I'm at like power level 120 or something, and there are areas that are like 370, and I've played 25 hours of this game. So I'm like, how fucking much of this game is there? Is there 100 hours in this game? I don't want to spend that much time in it. So I think it's a game I'll just slowly chip away at when there's nothing else. It's fun. It's beautiful looking. I think it looks great. But then I bought a game for Black Friday called Ghostrunner, because I've heard it's pretty cool. And it's like 9 hours. And I'm like, that sounds like the perfect amount of game. Ghostrunner is fucking great. I am horrible at Ghostrunner. It seems like
your kind of game.
How many hours are you in?
I'm probably like 6 in. 6?
Controller or mouse and keyboard?
So I'm playing on my Xbox Series S. I'm playing on controller. I think this game would play a lot better on mouse and keyboard. There are many things where I'm like, shit, if I was on mouse and keyboard, I think it would be better. Which is me saying that, and I don't like
clicking.
Yeah, it's just a lot.
Well, okay, describe this game very briefly to
me.
It is a runner, right?
Kind of. I wouldn't even
say
an obstacle course, almost
like Mirror's Edge.
It's a little like Mirror's Edge. I described it like I think in my opinion, it's a little like Doom Eternal-ish, in the fact of like you're moving around levels, but you can kind of move at your own pace. Like if you stop moving, it's fine. But you need to like stay protected. If you get hit once, you're dead. The only thing is enemies don't really move around much, so you're just trying to get like pointed. It's almost like a puzzle, or trying to figure out how not to get hit, kill these people without getting hit.
Like Super Hot.
Yeah, kind of like Super Hot, but not slow-mo.
Yeah.
It's Super Hot, but without the thing that makes it super hot.
Exactly. But like kind of similar-ish style, where like you run into a room, and you've got to basically like parkour around the room to not get shot and take down 5 or 6 enemies.
That sounds so fun.
It's so fun. All of the parkour elements are fantastic. Every like little step of abilities that they give you, great. The story is freaking cool. You're in this like awesome cyberpunky world, like techno, kind of like dystopian, noir. Like almost like Blade Runner-esque.
Nice.
But you are like the Ghostrunner, who's like
so you're the Ghostrunner.
Kind of like a robotic cop is what it kind of sounds like. But then when someone else took over the tower,
like a RoboCop, yeah,
like a RoboCop.
Yes.
And when someone else took over the tower, they like killed all the RoboCops, and you basically get like resurrected to take down the bad person.
Nice.
But you're a fucking ninja with a sword, and everyone else has guns.
Enemies take over a tower, and you're the last cop in that building.
Sounds like Judge Dredd, huh?
Yeah, I was about to say Judge Dredd.
Yeah. And you go outside and stuff, and you mess around. It's just really fun, and it's one of the best compliments I can give this game is I feel like when you play a game that's like very technical and you just die a lot and you can't explain why, it gets like really frustrating. Absolutely. I die like 80 times a level, and you're supposed to, like, it's an instant res in and stuff, like you die a lot. I died 80 times a level, and every time I know why I died. It's always like, I didn't hit that jump. Oh, I should have dodged this way instead of dodging forward, which I think is a great compliment, because I think games like this have a tendency to like, how the fuck did I die?
Yeah,
explain
like
that to me.
BS.
Yeah, and every time I die, I know how I died. Every ability that stacks is very intricate and fun. It's a game I just really recommend. The only thing I think are kind of shitty are the boss battles. I think since it's only one hit death, some of them get very tiresome. Of like, climb this tower and cut this cable, that's the boss, and the tower is really annoying to climb. Yeah. So adding like parkour boss battles doesn't work for me, but the majority of the game isn't that. There's been only 2 in my 6 hours playing, so I assume there's 3 bosses. Yeah. Great game. I really recommend it. If it's $20, I mean, it's a freaking steal. It's so
$20.
Fun. That's what I got it for.
It's
Black Friday.
Yeah, it was $20.
Oh, Black Friday. Okay.
But it was like, it's only a $30 game.
$40 game, right?
It's 30.
Oh, okay. I thought it was
$30 9-hour game. That's a good. Well, it's 9-hour game, but $30 pretty good.
Yeah,
that's cool. Yeah.
And I could see Siri just started talking to me. Jesus. I could see like this game I go back to and like try to get better runs and clear it out and stuff.
Nice.
Really great game. Really recommend it. If it ever comes to Game Pass, it's an easy pickup.
It probably will.
I think
That sounds like a
It's
perfect
a good Game Pass game.
It does, yeah.
But yeah, really recommend Ghostrunner. I'll be talking about it, I think, with Game of the Year stuff in my top 10. I'm thinking it's going to be up there. It's really fun.
Cool.
Nice.
Yeah, and just a PSA, even though Cyberpunk is coming out, Game Pass is about to drop some great indie titles that are like brand new. So I would really take a look at them. Haven looks really cool. That like duo RPG.
Yes, I did see
like
that.
turn-based. Call of the Sea. It looks like a Bioshocky kind of puzzle game where you're trapped on an island. Looks like almost like Witness mixed with Bioshock. And shit. Oh, Monster Sanctuary looks like a weird side-scrolling Pokemon-ish game. So just to check those out.
Cool.
Control is also on there as well with ray tracing.
Yes, Control's
So all those I recommend. I know you're pumped dead because you bought Control like 3 months ago, huh?
Oh, you bought Control.
So yeah, Game Pass just got some great drops. So little PSN.
Good job, Game Pass.
And next week we will be
They're about to be getting a lot of EA's catalog.
Yeah, they got all of EA's, right?
Oh yeah, they got EA's.
All of EA Play.
Yep. Eventually, although it hasn't dropped to PC yet, it's complicated.
PC's coming soon.
Yeah, everything comes to
coming soon this December.
This week or December. Maybe it's like a couple weeks, but it's December.
Everything comes to the
as soon as it
Xbox
happens,
version.
we'll let you know right here.
It's true.
Yes.
Stay tuned
Your
to
Xbox Game
Cyberscape
Pass guide.
Gaming Podcast. Yeah, Game Pass, the greatest deal in video games. Buy an Xbox, buy Game Pass, buy it all. Thank you so much for watching. No, you know what? You can't
If you
buy
could get
a
a
PlayStation.
PlayStation.
You just
Buy a
can't.
Sega Genesis. Let's bring it back to basics.
Before I end the show, I just got Target. If you're listening, Target, I want to
Fuck
talk
you,
to
Target.
I have been into 4 of your stores that I know have stock, that I've been told have stock, and I gotta buy it on frickin' line, and then I go online and it's never available. Whoo! You know what I'm saying? I want a PS4 or PS5, whatever it is. I'm pissed.
I'll give you a PS4.
Give me a
Yeah, I'll get you a PS4. You want PS4? I'll get you a PS4.
You want PS4? I got you PS4.
If I put 2 PS4s together, does it make a PS5?
Yeah, you get a PS4, you get PS1, you got PS5.
Yeah. You
Yeah,
put
PS2 and a PS3 and together.
you stack a PlayStation 1 on top of a PlayStation 4. Bada bing, bada boom. PS5. Thank you so much for watching the Cyberscape Gaming Podcast, episode 38. I'm your host, Jake Burke. That's James St. Charles and Ted Libby. We will see you next week, and please tell your mothers.